Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest joined us to speak about Bronx River Arts Center new exhibition Among Women, Contemporary Art from Serbia, a collection of featured artworks by 11 female artists who are deeply connected to Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, and how their art is collectively sharing a perspective that hasn't been regularly seen in the contemporary art space. Here to share more is the executive director of Bronx River Arts Center, Gail Nathan, and independent curator, Rachel Kilpa. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
So, welcome and thank you for being with us, ladies, and congratulations to you, Gail, for just soaring through with the Bronx River Arts Center. And you know, we've been by your side throughout your expansion, your renovation, and then of course we hit the pandemic, and now you're exhibiting this international story. And so I'd like to open up with just I guess inquiring like how you choose your topics, and of course this is women, and I personally feel on a personal level that it's going to take women to actually heal the world and us coming together. So it's no surprise that, of course, this is a women-driven exhibition. So let's just share what you found in similarities in choosing these types of exhibitions.
Well, first of all, the way we operate our gallery for the last couple of years, we go in and out of it. Every once in a while, we get a gallery director and they choose the shows, and sometimes they choose shows from the people that the artists that they're following. And just like Rachel had put together her show by following certain artists that she knows or has come in contact with. But what we do when we don't have a gallery director is we put out an open call for exhibition proposals that people like Rachel, independent curators, pick up, see it online. We put it out all over on social media and to artist organization lists and things like that. And I don't even know how Rachel found it, because I didn't know Rachel before. I always get very intimate with the curators when they do a show, to the point where I think I've known them for 10 years after we get the show up. But so we put out a call and we get a whole lot of applications and we look them over. I usually bring in a team of people, sometimes some of the artists in the studio program, other artists that have shown with us, other curators that have curated for us. We usually put together about 4 or 5 people to go over the applicants and choose a set of shows for the year. We have to do the whole set because our funders, you have to put in your schedule. So this year we looked at all the proposals. We do keep an eye on making sure that we're representing a lot of the artists from the Bronx and New York City, curators from the Bronx. We had 2 this year, curators from the Bronx. And also balancing the subject matters and things like that, and being involved with contemporary issues, whether it be aesthetic issues or socio-political issues or environmental issues, which is, of course, our double mission is art and environmental concerns and justice. So that's how we do it.
And this leads us into Among Women, which is the topic at hand, which is contemporary art from Serbia, which is all women. It's women curated and it's women artists, right? And so, Rachel, I want to have a conversation with you about how you have chosen to, I guess, enlighten us about Serbian women, I guess, the political undertones and how you all represent in being voices through this platform.
Well, I guess I can start by saying that I am Serbian American, and that my research as of late has been focusing on contemporary art from Serbia. And the concept for this show began back in 2017 when I was researching Serbia's first modern artist, Nadezhda Petrovic, who was very active at the beginning of the 20th century in a very radical woman, organizer, and painter. And from looking at her work, I just started to think about what are contemporary women artists doing in Belgrade, because obviously you can't ignore what's happening around you when you're there. And I just sort of started on this journey, asking a lot of cultural workers questions about what women are doing, meeting a lot of women artists. And there are a lot of opinions and perspectives, and I really wanted to give space to as many of those perspectives as I can. So some women in the show are specifically dealing with women's issues, the heteropatriarchy. Other ones are looking specifically at economics, globalization, and place. So you get a lot of different ideas about what the women are looking at and what they're thinking about.
Right. And so when a person is visiting this particular exhibit, which happens to be on display as we speak, right, because it opened on January 21st, what are you hoping, let's say someone who's unfamiliar with Belgrade, they walk away with learning?
Well, I was surprised, Rena, when this show opened in Pittsburgh in September, and now that it's in the Bronx, a lot of people actually are much more familiar with Serbia and Belgrade than I had anticipated, which is refreshing and pleasantly surprising. And I think that people are finding a lot of connecting points, especially women. There was one artist at the Bronx River Arts Center that I met who said she feels the immediacy of the works, how direct and transparent they are, but how they allow the viewer to come in and experience them and think about the topics at hand. So I feel that viewers, in particular women, because women have been having a strong reaction to this show, they feel that they can approach the art, look at it, get into it. They don't feel intimidated by it. And I feel that has been a nice thing to learn as the exhibition moves, that people feel invited into the space.
And so the different styles of art that are being exhibited, you already referenced the different topics, but what about the styles?
Well, we have a lot of different styles. We have a painter, we have a collage artist, we have some photographs, we have sculpture, we also have some digital works. So there's really a mix of diversity in art practices.
And so, Gail, I see you're sitting in between some of the exhibition right now. And that looks like a life-size image behind you or to your right. Is that correct?
Yes, and there's actually 3 sides. It's hung with like a triangle. So there are 2 other versions of a figure standing that way. Rachel can talk about that.
Yeah, that's a work by artist Maya Simic, who is a printmaker. So those are digital prints on canvas, and it's an outline of her body. So the one image is her wrapped in dish towels. There's another one of her wrapped in plastic bags, and another one of her covered in beauty creams and tinfoil and wax on her legs, which references the duties and responsibilities of women, how sometimes women have all of these responsibilities, especially as a mother, daily tasks that make you feel almost immobile or overwhelmed. And she really gives you that feeling, especially since the face and 2 of them are wrapped and covered, and it almost makes you feel like you're suffocating, at least for me when I look at them.
Bonded.
And so you identify as Serbian American, right?
Yes.
And so having visited, these artists are actually from Belgrade and from Serbia.
Yes.
And so coming from here and experiencing their artwork as a woman, right? How is it universal storytelling? Like where is that similarity that you find in being connected? Me
personally, or?
Yeah, I mean, I used you as an example because you identified as Serbian American, which means, your culture is here, right? But that's part of your ancestry and it's definitely part of your upbringing. So I just wondered how you connected to it as a woman.
Well, women are fierce in Balkan culture overall. And I really feel with some of these works, and I'll use Maya as an example because we're talking about her, the duties I've seen my mother perform, my grandmother, how hospitable they have been to people, how much work that they have done in the name of the family, and how sometimes that's not recognized as much as it should be. So with some of these works, I do feel that in terms of Maya's work, since that's the one that we're talking about, that's what immediately comes to mind.
And before we go, Gail, do you have any last words on how you identify with the exhibition as a woman?
Well, yes, to come and see the struggles that are expressed here. What Rachel described about that piece with the print with the woman bound by dishcloths, it's so clearly expressed, creatively expressed. And I mean, I know those dishcloths, you know, and it's such a beautiful piece. And again, like I said earlier, that the aesthetics of this show, that the quality of the work is so high that it's engaging. It's doing, the art is doing what it's supposed to do. It's engaging you first because it's so dynamic and beautiful on a aesthetic level, or tough on an aesthetic level. And then once you're in it, all this stuff keeps coming out of it. And right now that stuff is very critical in America. So that's the sort of thing that interests us when we see a proposal from somebody and we go, oh, that's a good one. Let's do that.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you, ladies. And I thank you for bringing it here to our viewers, independent curator Rachel Kilpa, and of course, executive director of the Bronx River Arts Center, Gail Nathan. And we are talking about Among Women, contemporary art from Serbia that is currently on view until February 26th, once again at the Bronx River Arts Center, which is located at 1087 East Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. And if you are interested in more information, you can visit bronxriverart.org, and on IG, you can visit them at Bronx River Arts Center. And of course, you can also visit amongwomenserbia.org. We are empowering women internationally, together, unified through art. All right, you guys stay tuned. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.